So Carly, welcome to Pink Car Leasing offices. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Great to be here.
I've got a few questions here for you, right? Nice
Go
and
ahead.
informal, nothing
Okay.
too heavy and serious, but I'm sure lots of people are interested to know what your answers are. So I'll start off with the first obvious one. Tell us how you started out playing golf in the first place.
Well, I started on a farm in Scotland. My older brother plays, and my dad kind of built a bit of a little golf course in the garden. So
Just a little one.
well, quite big. We have 100 acres, but it was just seeing my brother out there playing and practicing. I just got really into it. Being 4 or 5 years old, I'd run out and steal his golf club, and I think it just started from there, to be honest.
Yeah, that must be amazing, isn't it, to have that opportunity there? And I suppose it was.
I think that's why it was something I ended up doing, because it was just right there when I got home every day, and my parents got me and my brothers into all different sports to try, but I think golf was just the one for me.
Yeah, your brother, as you mentioned there, also a professional golfer, and your father Wally was a bowling wrestler. Is that
He
right?
was a silver medalist, yeah, for Olympic wrestling. So we have a very sporty family, and of course my middle brother, I'm the youngest, so Paul, he went to the Special Olympics, won 4 gold medals for powerlifting. So
Really?
yeah, and then my mum played netball for Liverpool when she was younger, so it's definitely a very
Excellent.
sporty family.
You were destined for a sporting career.
I think I had no option.
Did you, I mean, just quickly on that subject there, did you fall into golf, as a matter of course, or did you, obviously it was something you wanted to do, you didn't feel pressurised to go into it?
I think at the time there was very few girls, and I stood out a lot more,
Yeah.
and I achieved quite a lot really, really young, and I think at about 10, 11 years old I just had to choose which sport I wanted to do, and I was doing really well at gymnastics and swimming, and I just didn't have the same passion and love for them. As in, I love them sports, but if I was a gymnast, my career would have been over years ago from now, at least with golf. And especially that my brother decided golf was what he wanted to do. I think I just wanted to do the same as him.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you made the right choice in that respect, but the gymnastic aspect of that, we'll talk about that in a bit. Maybe obviously you're well known for your famous backflips at certain junctures, and wonderful upbringing, isn't it, to put you on course?
I was very blessed.
Yeah, sounds good, sounds idyllic. Now jumping from one stage of your career to another, in terms of what do you feel is your greatest achievement within sport, within golf?
Well, I think obviously always the first professional win, especially being the Scottish Open with my mum and family there, was pretty amazing.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I won twice. Well, I actually won 3 times that year, 2 on the main tour. So I think that was 2012, and I think that was just 2 very different wins, but both very, very memorable.
Yeah, because you were the youngest, was it, to be on the European tour, or?
Yeah, I got my tour card when I was 17, so that was the youngest known at that time, and I won when I was 19 twice.
Yeah, lots of achievements to consider for your best. Hopefully there's even more to come as well.
Definitely.
And on that note, what are your career plans over the next 12 months or so?
Well, last December I got a shoulder operation, which was actually like an 8 to 12 month recovery, but I was back playing on tour after 5. So I did a few months, and I've just decided to take a little bit of a break for now, and then start up again from next season, just to give myself a little bit more time with my rehab. I think with traveling this year has been really tough with COVID and gyms being closed, and I think it was just everything was a little bit of a backlog, and I wasn't quite doing as much as I wanted to regularly.
Well, that was going to be my next question actually. How has it been during the pandemic for you? But you sort of semi-answered it there. Is it partly a blessing that you had that injury problems, which is still ongoing to a level, in that period?
Yeah, well, definitely having an injury isn't a blessing.
No,
but-
never a blessing. You know what I mean in terms of
but
timing.
the timing of it all, I think, probably worked out for the best because with everything being the way it was, and you know, we had a lot of tournaments cancelled last year. I think it's just it's kind of come at the right time for me to go get the surgery because it's been an ongoing problem for many years, but it kind of hit its toll. So yeah, I think this year has been a good year to still play, which I have done for a few months, but then also get myself really healthy and fit for next season.
Yeah, exactly. Without losing too much ground
Yeah, exactly.
elsewhere, it can benefit in that way. But also, it was just I'm going a bit off script here in terms of I've always wondered like how big a team have you got behind you as an individual, and also depending on how much you're playing or how well you're doing, because obviously on the financial side you've got to upkeep everyone, but do you have like a physiotherapist?
It's you kind of go through your phases. A team is so important, but yeah, it's financially how much you have behind you. I mean, we don't make the same kind of money as the top men.
Yeah.
Like Rory, like Rory and like Dustin Johnson and these guys, and they have their team that travel with them full time pretty much.
Yeah.
And it can be a lonely time too, because you can't just afford to bring like your other half or a partner or your parents to come and watch each week. So it can be quite a lonely time out there, especially when you're traveling 20-30 weeks a year.
Yeah, exactly. And it's finding that balance, isn't it? And the capability. I mean, in terms, do you have like these days? I'm guessing that there's psychological assistance as well, isn't there? And the sporting aspect, as much as anything, like you say, going travelling around Europe, the world on your own is not always glitz and glamour, is it?
It's certainly not, but yeah, I think you also go through the emotions of who's best in your team. So I mean, we all change coaches sometimes, and go through what is it you personally need. I think with it being such an individual sport, everyone's very different to what their needs are.
Yes, good to know the workings behind the scenes. This one is a little bit more light-hearted, okay? So if you could play a round of golf with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
God, I've had this question asked quite a lot of times.
It's normally who would you like to
Who
have
do
a perfect dinner
fancy?
table with? Oh, fancy, maybe whichever. But we've got to think about this one.
I know, so it changes quite often, but if I was to be completely honest, I would go for Tiger Woods, Mark Wahlberg, and The Rock.
Oh, interesting combination there. To be fair, on the question, I was just thinking one player, but of course it's got to be a four-ball, hasn't it? Yeah, you need a selection there, don't you? But that might be a long round of golf because you'd be wanting to talk all the time, wouldn't you, and be involved. But I can
and
see.
then I'd probably get like us all a caddy of another person I want in my group, so it'd be like 8 people.
Right,
If I
okay.
could choose a caddy.
Well, all personalities as well.
Yeah, or I could maybe have Mark Wahlberg caddy for me, and I'll have Gary Player play, and then I'd have maybe The Rock should caddy because I don't think he's very good. And then someone else. So it's just if that was an option.
Okay, well you're extending the answer to that question, aren't you? But again, nice to know. So, all right, on that note, or possibly linked, it might be one of the people you just mentioned there to play around the golf with. When you were growing up, did you have a big inspirational individual?
Growing up, always my brother, and then Tiger Woods.
Good answer.
Yeah, they're my only two, I would say.
So you and the little sister trying to, was it a competitive relationship?
Oh yeah,
or,
very, always.
It sounds like when you said about stealing his clubs.
It was always bro sister competitions, and I think I got so good quickly because he was always beating me, and I was quite competitive, so it just pushed me on really quickly, having him there every day after school.
What better motivation than to beat your bigger brother?
Exactly.
Has that ever happened?
Oh yeah. It went from are you Wallace Smith's little sister to then aren't you Carly Booth's big brother?
Yeah,
typical kind of
That's when his face drops.
the family of all sorts of humour. But yeah, no, it was great having him around.
Good effort. But okay, aside from golf, do you have any other hobbies?
Netflix.
Yeah, as is the case with most people these days.
Especially if
Especially
you
on
travel
tour.
so much. Yeah, just going to the gym, seeing friends. With everything that's kind of been going on at the moment, it's been like harder to do much, but at least things are getting much better. But I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I like to snowboard. I like to do anything I like to drive cars.
Pink Car Leasing cars,
Pink
of
Car
course.
Leasing cars, of course, which I get to do every day, which is amazing. So yeah, no, just one of those very open-minded people that love to try everything.
Do you get much time when you're on tour then? I imagine it's full on obviously when the competitions are there, but not so much before, maybe it's preparation, but afterwards you get time to relax, or the tournament's too thick and fast?
I think it's just like right now, like I said, I'm having that little bit of time. It's just nice to be home
Yeah.
a lot more. So like people go say, oh, you're gonna go on holiday, and I'm like, I practically live abroad. You know, actually it's a holiday coming home for me sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm just enjoying a bit of downtime.
I can well imagine, much deserved too. Right, we're getting there, we're nearly done. How old were you when you hit your first hole-in-one? If you've hit any, I'm assuming you have.
Well, this was actually why I was saying my biggest achievement winning the Scottish the same year. About a month later, I won the Swiss, and that was a very memorable week for me because it was the week before my 20th birthday. I finally got to play with Laura Davis, who I've always wanted to play with, and I got my first hole-in-one, and I won the tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
On the round with Laura Davis?
I played with her on the third round.
Okay.
After 4, but it was like everything in 1 week, so it was pretty special, that one.
Perfect scenario.
Yeah, I've had 2 hole-in-ones.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, in competition?
In competition.
In
Never
practice?
had one. No, never in practice.
Really?
I mean, like, not properly.
Yeah. What's properly? You mean you
Well,
didn't shovel it in?
I mean, I might have hit, like, might have been practicing and hitting quite a few balls.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't just in a round of golf.
Right, okay.
A practice shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never experienced that pleasure. Not likely to either. But last question in this series there. Tell us an interesting fact about yourself. I always find it a little bit difficult. I've been asked a couple of occasions myself to come up with something that you think is interesting about yourself. But are you able to do that?
Where do we start? I would say I'm very flawed, but I would say something that a lot of people don't know about me is I have a lazy eye. So my left eye doesn't go left.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I've just seen it there.
Yeah.
You produced evidence.
So I always used to get...
Is that a problem for a golfer?
Well, my brother used to make fun of me a little bit when I was younger because, do you know, when you turn your head to you go like that to look at the hole, I have to go like this because I can't see properly. So I used to end up aiming too far right and filling it like that way because of my head.
Yeah.
I learned how to deal with it better, but it was definitely
was that a problem early on then?
Well, it kind of is because I can't really see properly. If I was to just look down the line, I just see the shadow of my nose. So that's kind of something that I would say would be an interesting fact.
Yeah, well, particularly given
I'm a golfer.
your vocation, because you'd think that would be quite detrimental.
It probably was a little bit less helpful, but you adapt.
Yeah, that's a quirky answer. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
And lastly, I said that was the last question in this episode, but regarding the gymnastics side and the backflips.
Yeah.
Now, excuse my ignorance, but when do you apply the backflips? Is it just something you fancy doing? Is it on the back of a good shot, or is it just to make people like me feel doubly inferior because I can't hit a 250-yard straight drive and do a backflip?
Well, it's not just backflips. I love to do handstands too, but I think it's just from doing it. So like I never really wanted to lose it, so I think I just do it sometimes anyway, just from being in the gym or whatever. But people hear about it, and then it's like it's a typical put on the spot to do it. Not that I would just go and do it. Like I've been egged on to do it, or if it's for a media.
It's not to celebrate a good shot.
Not really, no. Or if it's for a media purpose.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, usually I'm egged on to do it if I do bring it out on the golf course.
Yeah, good stuff. But like I say, you make many people feel
Yeah,
rather inferior
I make
doing
them
that.
feel a lot worse.
No, but keep doing it. It's good. I mean, golf's quite a repetitive game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any spark and
It's nice
can
to be a
brought
bit
into it.
different.
Exactly. Carry on with that one, definitely.
Thank you.